make sure that we put things together.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's one thing that needs to never be said. Happens, you know, you brought some stuff to you, you're
Yes. Yeah, you know,
Maybe someone is.
see, this is not just Georgia, this is international. And you don't know who may come in and want to express efficacy. They may not go to downtown.
Just kind of here, because that's a big party. Well, you know, I was in Russia, and they got those World Cup over there in 2018. From the whole of them, issues. Officers on site, 84 seconds.
Yeah, they're ready to suit it and move.
So maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, that's what the chief. Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, that city's not giving me money to go to Minnesota. Please, shut up.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Douglasville Council Legislative Work Session of Thursday, April 30th, 2026. Do not adjust your dial. I am Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller, not Mayor Rochelle Robinson. Call this meeting to order, and first up, we'll have our invocation by the Overseer Priscilla Quinn of Ephraim of International Community Church and Outreach Services, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by our illustrious Councilman Demetrian Caldwell. Please stand, everyone.
Good evening. May we bow our heads in prayer. Eternal and Almighty God, we thank you for this day and for the privilege of serving the people of Douglasville. We ask your wisdom, your peace, and your guidance upon our mayor, city council, legislator, and every public servant here today. Today, we pause with deep respect to remember the late Congressman David Scott. We thank you for his dedication of faithfulness service, his advocacy for Georgia families, seniors, farmers, and veterans as the legacy of leadership he leaves behind. Comfort his family and all who mourn his passing, and let his life work continue to inspire those who lead. Bless this meeting with unity, clarity, and purpose. Let every decision made tonight uplift this community of Douglasville, strengthen the people, the neighbors, and that this meeting will call all to prosper. May your presence guide our thoughts, study our hearts, and bring peace to this chamber. We ask these blessings in your holy name, and by the name of Jesus, amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Caldwell, for the pledge, and thank you, Overseer Quinn, for the invocation. Appreciate that. All right, as we move into the business of the evening, I would like to read a few rules of the road before we start. This is a work session where agenda items are presented for discussion and no official action will be taken tonight. Official action will be taken on these items that are discussed on Monday, which is, that's the 4th, am I correct? If the business you are here is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates section to discuss your business. There are a few protocol items that you need to be aware of before we start the meeting. First is you listen closely and do not misunderstand how tonight's meeting will be conducted. Please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make their decision. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair if you deviate from this requirement. A second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the chambers and the premises for the evening. Only one person will be talking at a time. Do not applaud or react to speakers, speak from the audience, cheer, carry on a conversation with others in the audience, or disrupt the order of this meeting in any way. You're reminded that we are only required to accept public comment during required public hearings. We are not required to accept public comment on other items before this council. We accept public comments on items because we feel it enables us to make better decisions. But we will maintain order, and as the chair of the meeting, at any time during the meeting, I'm prepared to stop the public comment on any agenda item if the general good of the meeting will not benefit from the actions being taken by a member or members of the audience. If you have a cell phone or other electronic device, please power it off or put it into silent mode. And we finally got rid of the pager note on there, thank goodness, in the 21st century. Agenda items will be handled as follows. The committee chairperson will read the agenda item, then the person representing the agenda item or the applicant will make his or her presentations first. That will be the only opportunity for you to present the information. Then the Mayor Pro Tem or members of council will possibly ask questions of the applicant or seek additional information. After that, the committee chair will ask for comments or statements from the audience. There is a maximum time limit of 20 minutes for those who will speak in favor or in opposition to an agenda item. The applicant's presentation is included in this time allotment. Each speaker individually will be limited to 5 minutes. Please fill out a speaker sign-in card on the table. I think they're at the door, and there may be some here at the clerk's desk as well. Prior to approaching the podium, please give the card to the assistant city clerk. And to ensure that you have completed the form online, or if you've, I guess we can do it online too as well. At the podium, state your name and address for the record, whether you're in favor or against a particular item, and then proceed with your comments. This meeting is not a question and answer format. The meeting is not debate format. It's a format that gives you an opportunity to make a public comment on the respective agenda item. This is particularly important during our public hearing. We understand that you may have questions about the information that is being presented. We will try to answer your questions. However, this is not the format to do so. Please state your questions and make certain your question is included on your comment card, and someone from our staff will be sure to follow up by email. Please address your comments to the chair, not to members of the audience or to the applicant or to city staff. If information is repetitive of information presented earlier in this evening or any other meetings on this matter, there's no need to present the same information again. And our policy requires that printed information used to review be submitted in advance to the city clerk's office to be included in each city council member's work packet. Therefore, please do not pass out information or distribute information to the city council. That includes during the comment period. During the comment from citizens and delegates we will not address zoning items that were discussed during the public hearings for each zoning application. The time to address those comments were during the citizens' comment section during those actual public hearings. That is according to the Georgia State Zoning Procedures Act. And that's the rules of the road. And so from that point, we will proceed with tonight's agenda. And the first item is an announcement or presentation from the mayor's office. It is a proclamation to Patty Sullivan, Engagement Coordinator, and the Douglas County School System in recognition of their commitment to the summer reading for students, parents, and families in the Douglas County community. And I have a proclamation, and I guess, let's see, Ms. Sullivan and the our Superintendent North are here. I'm going to get your title right. And I will read the proclamation, and once I'm done, we'll come out, you'll have a statement, and then we'll come out for some picks. Okay? And the proclamation is, in celebrating Douglas County School System's 2026 Reading Challenge, whereas reading is a foundational skill that promotes academic achievement, personal development, lifelong learning, and maintaining and strengthening literacy skills over the summer months, helps prevent learning loss, and ensures students are prepared for success in the new school year. And whereas fostering a culture of reading requires shared commitment from students, parents, educators, families, and the broader community. Whereas the City of Douglasville reaffirms its commitment to promoting summer reading for all students by ensuring access to high-quality books, digital resources, and engaging literacy programs. And whereas the school system encourages students to set personal reading goals, explore a variety of genres and authors, and engage in conversations that deepen comprehension and foster a love of reading. And whereas that as a part of this initiative, the Douglas County community, students, educators, families, and community partners is challenged to collectively read 3 million minutes throughout the summer to promote engagement, consistency, and a shared commitment to literacy. And whereas the City of Douglasville celebrates and recognizes the united efforts of students, families, educators, and community partners in building a brighter future, the power of literacy. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller, in the name of Mayor Rochelle Robinson, Mayor of the City of Douglasville, and on behalf of the Douglasville City Council and the citizens of the city, do hereby recognize that the City of Douglasville celebrates and recognizes the united efforts of students, families, educators, and community partners in building a brighter future through the power of literacy, and encouraging all citizens to partake in the 2026 Reading Challenge, so proclaimed this 30th day of April, 2026. That's a lot of reading I did there.
Thank you.
Ms. Sullivan and Superintendent North.
On behalf of the Douglas County Board of Education, we want to thank you for our partnership. We believe that the students who attend the Douglas County School System, that they are truly a reflection of Douglas County. And if we want our kids to value and respect reading, we want our leaders to partner with us. So this is our second year. And each year, so this is not a one and done, we want Douglas County to be a literate reading community. So we thank you for partnering with us. I know that last year, Elena went and read to the kids. I think this year, the mayor, we extend the invitation to each of you. We want our kids to value education. And if our leaders value it, and if our leaders value reading, then our kids will value reading as well. And so when people ask me, what are the kids like in the school system? I say, just like the kids in the community. They are the same. So thank you all for partnering with us. We hope that you all are able to attend one of the festivities this summer. Just want to thank you all for the partnership.
Thank you, Superintendent. Would anybody on council like to say something? Councilman Caldwell, you're about to say something. You were part and parcel of the system for a while?
So I wasn't going to say anything, but what I will say is thank you to Dr. North, and we're certainly grateful to the amazing work that you continue to do and lead for the Douglas County school system. And so the work continues to show, and so your efforts do not go unnoticed, and so we're always grateful to partner with you, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone done this end? Coach Watts, you were part of the system as well.
Well, I would just like to say thank the unsung heroes in this push to get kids to read are the classroom teachers from the elementary level all the way up. So I just want to thank all those teachers out there that are teaching kids to learn to love to read.
Thank you, Councilman Watts. Anyone else? Councilwoman Hudson, you're about to say something.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just wanted to extend my gratitude. I was an Alexander High School alum, and so I've spent my time in the school system as well, and I've tried to give back to it whenever you guys reach out. So I encourage my colleagues here to definitely participate in a summer reading program. I did one last year at Jesse Davis Park. I believe it was a book about stripes. I don't know. It was a very neat book. I felt even very inspired leaving. And it was probably on the third grade reading level. So you definitely encourage you guys, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hudson. Anyone else? I just want to say thank you again for all the work you do with our kids. I know I'm old enough to remember the old expression they used to use in ads was reading is fundamental. I don't know if they still use that anymore. But it's so important to set an example. I was lucky. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a household. My father was a journalist. He was a writer, and just about every memory I have of him was walking around the house with a book in his hand. And something that simple can just really set an example for kids. And so if they see other people reading, they're going to read too. So thank you very much. We're going to come around and get a picture, and don't go far. Yeah.
All right, perfect. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. One more on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then one more, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Our next agenda item is the first committee, which is the Economic Development Committee, and we will turn to our vice chair of the Economic Development Committee, that is Councilwoman Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have no business this evening for economic development.
Thank you, Councilwoman Miller. Our next committee is the Finance Committee, chaired by Councilman Chris Watts.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have no item, nothing under finance tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Watts. Our next committee is Housing and Community Affairs, chaired by Councilwoman Elena Hudson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have no business under the Housing and Community Affairs Committee this evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hudson. Our next committee is the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, and our vice chair of that is also Councilwoman Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We do have a couple of items this evening. Our first says to adopt an ordinance to amend the charter for the city of Douglasville to revise section 2.09 definitions, to revise pronouns in section 2.34, to revise appointed employee provisions and update pronouns in section 3.10, and to revise section 3.13 to remove appointed language for the city clerk, and to revise term language for the municipal judge or municipal court judges in section 4.11, to revise municipal court sentencing powers in section 4.13, and to repeal any conflicting ordinances to provide effective date and other purposes. Ms. Jordan.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, members of council. Miranda Jordan, staff attorney, 6758 Spring Street. This item was brought before you at the last round of council meetings and was approved at its first adoption. For charter amendments that are done locally by city council, they have to be adopted at 2 consecutive meetings. And this would be the second adoption of the changes that were made at the last round of meetings.
Thank you for that clarification. So everything that we're looking at is exactly as we looked at it in that last round of meetings.
That's correct.
Perfect. Council, do we have any questions or comments on this item? Would it be appropriate to place this on the consent, or does it have to go to the next?
It can be placed on the consent.
Can it? Okay, are you guys okay with placing that on the consent agenda? Okay, wonderful, thank you. And our next item says to adopt a resolution authorizing the city of Douglasville's participation in the amicus brief in Chambers City of Milton before the Georgia Court of Appeals and the Georgia Supreme Court. Ms. Jordan.
Yes. So this item is actually our recommendation for the city of Douglasville to participate in an amicus brief for the city of Milton versus Chang case. That was recently updated at about a month ago, one of our council meetings, because there was a positive result for cities in the Supreme Court ruling that was most recently made. In that ruling, however, the Supreme Court still needed the lower court to address some issues regarding cities' liability for nuisance claims. There were multiple causes of action that were included in that lawsuit. So the Supreme Court was able to clarify for cities that their liability only extends to the ordinary path of travel, which is the roadway itself, and not the shoulder. But the Supreme Court sent this back down to the Court of Appeals for a ruling consistent with that, and to address nuisance liability and the amounts of that liability. So the city of Milton is once again asking for Georgia cities to participate in support of a legal argument that is founded in Georgia law that will support their position in this case. So unfortunately, it's not over yet, but we are coming to the next hoop that has to be jumped through, basically.
Ooh, thank you for that explanation. Council, do you guys have questions regarding this item? Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Councilwoman Miller. Miranda, could you explain to us and maybe to the public again in general what the significance of joining an amicus is? I mean, what difference does it really make to a case when you have allied partners signing on to an amicus?
Right, so the benefit to that, and what an amicus brief really is just Latin for I'm a friend of the court. And so you're providing a different perspective on the ultimate legal issue that the court can consider. This is commonly done in appeals cases, whether it's at the state level or at the United States level. Interested parties in the ruling and the decision-making of that court will take a position in favor of one side or the other and will make a legal argument to support that position.
Thank you.
Sure.
That's all.
Thank you for that clarification. Coach, you looked like you had a question.
Yeah, the Supreme Court ruled on the case, did they not?
They ruled on part of the case, and they made a legal determination. What happens after that is the case is transferred back to the court right below that to be able to use that legal determination to formulate a decision. But they also want the lower court to make a ruling on a different issue. So you can have multiple causes of action in a lawsuit. You could sue under different theories of the law. And so this particular amicus brief is addressing a different theory of law than the issue that was already determined by the Supreme Court. And this one is a nuisance claim, not as much of a negligence claim that was addressed before. It's, Mr. Dodson, do you have anything to add in addition to that, to maybe make what I'm saying a little more understandable?
I think you've covered it about as well as you can. The Supreme Court held that the city couldn't be held strictly liable because the obstruction was not in the roadway. In other words, it's not in the ordinary course of travel. In that particular case, the concrete monument is on city property, and the issue before the Court of Appeals will be, was that a nuisance under Georgia law? And if it was a nuisance, what's the scope of the city's liability?
So it could very well end up back to the Supreme Court depending on what they...
It could. You have an interesting interplay between the state and counties don't have this issue, but cities do. Cities can be held liable for a nuisance, irregardless of other issues of liability. The issue usually turns on, did you know it was a nuisance? And was it a nuisance? In my own mind, I'm not sure that could be considered a nuisance, any more than a large tree could be considered a nuisance. But that's going back to a court and probably a jury to determine.
I mean, you know, our sign at the edge of the city there coming in, you know, it's off, it's elevated, but so this type of case is hanging over every municipality's head until they get this sorted out.
Yes, the good news for Milton is that is the only claim ever made in association with that particular structure. This isn't a situation where there've been 3 or 4 more wrecks that hit it. So in Milton's favor, I think that's going to weigh heavily in their favor.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for all that explanation. So essentially, we are just looking to support Milton in this.
Yes, they'll simply add the city's name among dozens of other cities that file this brief.
Okay, thank you for that. Were there any additional questions, comments related to this item? And are you guys comfortable placing this on the consent agenda? Wonderful, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, that is all that we have this evening for legislative and intergovernmental.
Thank you, Councilwoman Miller. Our next committee is the Personnel and Organization Committee, chaired by Councilman Howard Estes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have a couple of items this evening. First up, item 26-140, adopt a resolution establishing the court solicitor as a regular staff position, approving the associated job description, and adding the classification to the city's classification and compensation structure, including the pay grade schedule. And Ms. Forrester will walk us through this.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Basically, this item
Ms.
requires...
Forrester, if you don't mind, could you give your name and address for the record, please?
Colleen Forrester, 6758 Spring Street.
Thank you.
So this item requests approval to establish the court solicitor as a direct hire staff position and add the classification basically to the job description list to the city's pay schedule. For approximately the past 15 years, the city has utilized a contractual agreement for this function, and after reviewing the operational needs of the municipal court, it was determined that transitioning the position to a regular staff role will provide greater continuity, accountability, and operational consistency. This action basically formalizes the position within the city's classification structure. So it'll no longer be contractual, it'll be a direct hire position.
Thank you. I know we have discussed this on a few
Yes, we
occasions
did.
previously. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I would like to ask that this be placed on the consent agenda for Monday's meeting. And we will move on to the next item, 26-141. Adopt an ordinance to amend Section 4-6C of the Personnel Policies and Procedures Ordinance for the City of Douglasville to revise the criminal background check process for employment candidates to be conducted following a conditional offer of employment. And again, Ms. Forrester.
Yes, currently the process is we do not interview a candidate until after a background check. So that could be costly, and it's especially if we have 5 to 6 to 8 candidates that we want to interview, it'll take a lot of time to get the results back, and then it really delays the hiring process. So it is recommended that we move to a background check process after a conditional offer has been extended.
It makes perfect sense to save time and money
Yes.
by not overdoing background checks on people that are not going to get the job in the first place.
Yes.
Any questions or comments from anyone? Okay, seeing none, I would also like to place this on the consent agenda for Monday. And we will move on to item 26-142. Adopt an ordinance to amend Section 3-1 of the Personnel Policies and Procedures Ordinance for the City of Douglasville to authorize the city manager as chief personnel officer to approve job descriptions, job titles, and positions classifications while maintaining mayor and council authority for citywide salary plans. Again, Ms. Forrester.
Okay. This item requests approval to amend the personnel policies and procedures to clarify the authority for approving job descriptions and job titles. Currently, the policy contains language to assign this responsibility to both mayor and council and the city manager, which can create confusion. The proposed change clarifies that job descriptions, job titles, and amendments to either will be approved by the city manager or designee as part of the city's classification and position control administration. This change aligns the policy with the city's council manager form of government while maintaining mayor and council's authority over the city's pay schedule and compensation structure. This amendment simply removes conflicting language and improves administrative efficiency. I'm not well, so yeah.
You sound better than last week, though.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Forrester. Again, a housekeeping item basically that makes perfect sense from my perspective. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, let's place this on the consent agenda as well. Thank you, Ms. Forrester. You may now sit
Thank you.
down and work on your throat. And Mayor Pro Tem, that is all we have tonight for personnel and organization.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. Our next committee is Planning and Development, and we hit the ball back to you, Councilwoman Miller.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. We do have a couple of items this evening. The first says to consider a request for a revised final plat approval for the purpose of establishing the as-built locations of the townhome buildings for lots 1 through 5, 78 through 84, 85 through 92, and 98 through 102 at Chestnut Grove for 13.277 acres at 2003, is that Elia Drive, and land lots 902, 909, 910, District 18, Section 2, parcel ID 0032, application by Ashton Woods and Mr. Pierce, and I believe Ms. Tubbs is going to go over this with us.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. Chelsea Tubbs, 6758 Spring Street. This item, or development rather, has come before you all for several rounds of revisions to establish the as-built locations for the buildings and lots built. Today, the applicant is requesting to get an approval for a revised final plat for as-built locations for the buildings 1 through 5, 78 through 84, 85 through 92, and 98 to 102.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tubbs. I know that we've already been over this, but for the record, how is this development going? Have you guys had any issues or concerns with it?
No, ma'am. City staff and county staff usually reviews any plat that comes within the Community Development Department, and we have not had any issues or concerns as the lots begin to be developed. Sorry.
Appreciate that, thank you.
No problem.
Council, do you guys have questions of this particular item? No? Okay, with that being said, are y'all comfortable placing this on the consent agenda? Wonderful, I appreciate that. Ms. Tubbs, don't go anywhere. Says, consider request for final plat approval for the purpose of establishing the as-built locations for the townhome buildings for lots 23 through 26 of Laurelwood Phase 2 for 12.018 acres at 5059 Reservoir Drive in land lots 23 and 24, District 1, Section 5, application by FR Arbor Place, and Mr. Hasty and Ms. Tubbs.
The same thing for Laurelwood. This plat has come before you all for several revisions to again establish the as-built locations. Today, the applicant is just trying to get a plat approval to establish the locations for townhome buildings 23 to 26. This plat was also reviewed by county and city staff, and no issues were found regarding this plat.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I think that we all ride by this one quite often, and it's been coming up and looks quite nice. I'm glad to hear that there haven't been any issues with it. Mayor Pro Tem, Council, do you guys have questions concerning this item? Okay, are you all comfortable placing this on the consent agenda? Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tubbs. Our next item says to consider a request for final plat approval for the Cedar Hill for purpose of establishing 95 lots for 21.50 acres located on Slater Mill Road and Shawnee Trail in land lot 80, District 1, Section 5, parcel ID 0047, application by PEC Plus. I need some help pronouncing that name. Mr. Gray.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Dana Gray, 6758 Spring Street. This is an application. Applicant is requesting approval for a final plat for Cedar Hill subdivision for 95 single-family homes, detached homes located at Slater Mill Road and Shawnee Trail. So this came before you all in 2022 for an annexation and rezoning, but it was withdrawn by Century Communities. And then in 2023, it was picked up by PEC, and they took the original parcel that was in the city and rezoned from PUD with a base zoning of GC to PUD for the single-family homes.
Wonderful, thank you. So it looks like they're getting ready to get this one started. Mayor Pro Tem, Council, do you guys have questions regarding this item? Yes, Coach.
Yes, Madam Chair. This project, I can't remember, it's been a minute since we've talked about it. Are they doing a sidewalk all the way around the outside or just within? I can't remember.
Usually they're required to do a sidewalk on the exterior just for the limits of the property.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Anyone else? Okay. With that being said, are you guys comfortable placing this on the consent agenda? All right, I really appreciate that. Thank you for that. And our last item says to refer back to the Planning Commission for the UDO text amendment on the new zoning classification. Mr. Gray.
All right, this item is a request for your approval to this text amendment for a new zoning classification to be moved to the Planning Commission. So staff's proposal is a new zoning classification, we haven't determined the name as of yet, that will provide smaller lots and housing types that are responsive to the changing demographics of the area. And this will provide quality and affordable housing for seniors, workforce, housing, and retirees. And it will be focused on the downtown area, continuing the sense of neighborhood walkability and biking. So I'm very excited about this one for the downtown area.
Thank you for that, Mr. Gray. Yep, I know that we've been talking about this one for quite a while now. For those of you that may be curious, we're referring to those small parcels and pockets of land throughout the downtown that otherwise may not be able to be developed, or some of these that might need to be redeveloped. Questions, thoughts? Anyone but Mayor Pro Tem? I'm kidding. Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Make me call you out of order. Then this is going to give us it'll give us classification more dense than R5, correct?
Yes. So R5 has a minimum lot size of 5,000 and the home minimum of 1,200. So we're looking at the area of 3,000 lot in that area, and the unit size of starting around 800. So we're still flushing it out before the Planning Commission, but yes.
Are you likely to pursue the classification based on just the individual lot size, or are you going to look at it more largely as number of units per acre? How do you intend to?
It will wind up being number of units per acre.
Okay.
But yes, we will focus on that lot size as well, so that developers do have that advantage in that area to work a little bit smaller, which would hopefully work in the affordability rate.
Okay. It's funny how, you go forward in one way and you go backwards in another. I was here just when we had changed the law in the opposite direction, and it's interesting that finally we've come around to see the benefit of the smaller lots now. So thank you for the work. Thank you, Madam
Thank you for
Chair.
that very much. Yep. Anyone else? No? I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Okay. I know, like I said a few moments ago, this is something that we've been discussing for quite a while, and I'm quite certain that our housing study is going to show need for this as well, because it's not just our seniors and our workforce housing, but it's young people who are younger than me, clearly, that may want to purchase a home, and they don't always want a yard, but they want to own a piece of the pie, if you will, the American dream. It gives it I feel like that connectivity feel that we've been looking for in our downtown. So I'm really excited about this. All right. Are you guys okay with placing this on the consent agenda? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, that is all that we have this evening for planning and development.
Well done, Councilwoman Miller. Thank you very much. I will move on to the next committee, which is, once again, it's your show. Back to the Public and Improvement and Beautification Committee, Councilwoman Miller.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have no business this evening for Public Improvement and Beautification.
Thank you, Councilwoman Miller. Next committee is Public Relations Committee, Councilman Samuel Davis.
No business at this time, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Davis. Our next committee is the Public Safety Committee, Councilman Howard Estes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have no business for the Public Safety Committee this evening.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. Our next committee is Recreation, Culture, and Tourism, and that is chaired by Councilman Chris Watts.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have one item tonight under Recreation, Culture, and Tourism to adopt a resolution recognizing May 3rd through the 9th, 2026 as National Travel and Tourism Week in the city of Douglasville, and Ms. Rosado will handle this one.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Samantha Rosado, Assistant Conference Center and Tourism Director, 6700 Church Street. I'm here this evening to recognize National Travel and Tourism Week as May 3rd through the 9th. The City of Douglasville has a long-standing tradition of recognizing National Travel and Tourism Week, a nationwide celebration that highlights the economic and community impact of the travel industry. This annual observance provides an opportunity to showcase how tourism supports local businesses, generates economic activity, and enhances quality of life for both residents and visitors. Tourism remains a key economic driver, not only nationally, but also here in Georgia, supporting jobs, generating tax revenue, and contributing to the overall vitality of our community. Douglasville continues to actively participate in this initiative through programming, community engagement, and promotional efforts that highlight our destination and local partners. Our goal is to increase visibility of Douglasville's tourism assets, strengthen partnerships, and encourage both residents and visitors to explore our local businesses, attractions, and experiences. Planned activities next week include a kickoff and closing social media campaign, activating our mobile visitor center at Food Truck Monday, hosting a tour of progress in partnership with Main Street Douglasville, a Meet the People Behind Tourism campaign highlighting local partners, a Welcome Center activation, and then regional partnership engagement, including participation at the Tallapoosa Visitor Center. These efforts are designed to both celebrate and promote tourism in Douglasville in a visible and engaging way. At this time, I request to designate May 3rd through May 9th as National Travel and Tourism Week in the City of Douglasville.
Thank you, Ms. Rosado. Anybody from the council that would like to ask any questions? All right, well, we thank y'all for all your efforts in this particular area. I know, would you say that tourism in Douglasville, Douglas County has gone up over the last few years?
Yes, I would say that we've continued to see an increase.
Okay, good. All right.
Was it the amphitheater, do you think, was a significant part of that increase?
I think it definitely has a draw. We're able to pull those numbers from the concert so we can see when people are coming out of town. So I would say that has benefited, yes, sir.
I can't think of anything else where we had 3,000 people coming into town on a regular basis, so it's got to be a good one. Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Well, thank you all. All right, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, that is all I had tonight. If no one else has any questions for Ms. Rosado, appreciate the report. And is there anything else we need to do with this? Oh, I guess place it on a consent agenda. That would be a good thing. No, let's hold this over and we'll vote on this on Monday. No, thank you, Ms. Rosado. We'll place this on the consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that all you have, Councilman?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Watts. Next committee is the Technology Committee, chaired by Councilman Devitrion Caldwell.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have no business under technology this evening.
Thank you, Councilman Caldwell. Our last committee is the Transportation Committee, chaired by Elena Hudson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have no business under the Transportation Committee this evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hudson. Now on to other business. Does anybody on council have any other business they'd like to bring forward at this time, or forever hold your peace, at least till the next meeting? All right, we go on to updates from the city staff. City Attorney, Mr. Joel Dodson.
No business, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. Our Staff Attorney, Miranda Jordan.
No business, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Chief of Police, Dr. Sparks.
No business, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Doctor. City Manager, Ms. Frazier.
I do not have any items other than we do have a staff report to present and just give some consideration to the call that you all received from your chief of police and your decision points at that discussion time.
Okay. Thank you, City Manager. So we will now go on to that very item, the staff reports. That is a staff report of the proposed Goals on the Green Soccer Watch Party Series, including program concepts, event structure, anticipated costs, and potential community engagement opportunities. Ms. Samantha Rosado.
Good evening again. Samantha Rosado, Assistant Conference Center and Tourism Director, 6700 Church Street. As City Manager said, I will be presenting operational options for the FIFA Watch Party Series and to receive your direction on how you would like staff to proceed. The proposed series includes 8 matches between June 15th and July 15th, with a mix of daytime and evening games. These events are intended to activate our downtown, create a community gathering space, and attract both residents and visitors during a globally significant event. Staff has evaluated 2 options for execution. The first option is an open park concept. This would operate similarly to a traditional park activation, so no fencing and no tickets. This approach allows for maximum accessibility and encourages organic attendance and community engagement. From a cost perspective, this option is the more conservative. Total estimated costs are approximately $23,000 across all 8 events, or less than $3,000 per event. The total is made up primarily of staffing across departments, including parks, police, public services, and community relations. We would also utilize existing city equipment, including our screens, which are designed for this type of activation. Additionally, there is no cost associated with licensing under this model. Overall, this option prioritizes accessibility, lower cost, and ease of implementation. Your second option is a ticketed concert style concept. This would mirror our existing ticketed events, including fencing the venue, controlling entry, and requiring tickets for admission. This model significantly increases cost. Staffing accounts for approximately $33,000, with the remaining costs driven by rentals such as fencing, restrooms, and private security. A minimum of 13 staff would be required per event, with total staffing costs varying based on assigned personnel. Operationally, fencing reduces the capacity of the space, which would require ticketing and limit overall attendance. This model may also require transportation or shuttle considerations and would follow the same policies as our procedures for the ticketed concerts. While this option provides a more controlled environment, it comes with substantially higher cost and reduced accessibility. It would also limit programming opportunities due to the smaller footprint. At a high level, council is being asked to consider a $23,000 open access model excuse me, versus a $130,000 controlled ticketed model, with key trade-offs in accessibility, capacity, and overall event experience. At this time, staff is seeking direction from council on which operational model you would like us to move forward with.
Can you give us the total cost on each of them side by side again?
Yeah, so the first option would be continue to operate as a park. It would be $23,000 open access versus $130,000 for the controlled ticketed model.
30 or 13?
30.
30, okay. So neither one of those, though, cost $250,000, though? That's the important thing to know. Okay. I'll open the floor to council discussion. Councilman Estes?
I really like the idea of just having it open, particularly for the games that are at noon. Most of those are on a weekday. I can't imagine there's going to be a massive crowd. The one that does concern me, though, is the June 27th at 7:30. That's a Saturday night. And I don't know, I mean, this is probably more of a question for Chief Sparks, but maybe bumping up the visibility of the PD's presence, if you guys really would like it fenced in. That's such a significant difference in cost, and that's over $100,000 to fence in all of these, and then you have the headaches of the ticketing process and so on and so forth. And especially for those weekday noon games where I'd be surprised if we get a dozen or 24 people. But again, that Saturday night one is the one that I have some misgivings about. So I'd love to hear from everyone else.
Maybe a possibility of a hybrid decision. So,
Yeah.
Councilman Davis?
I like Mr. Estes. I like the open fact. And because one of those days, the 24th, we'd be doing the concert series of the Winds and Wind Down. And we just don't have that kind of activity going on with soccer here in our great city. And I think we'll be fine.
Thank you, Councilman Davis. And down this end, Councilman Watts.
I like the open concept. I like the idea of people coming in for free. We've had discussions about the impact of these types of events and concerts and things like that, the impact on staff. So my goal would want us to make as little of an impact on staff for this. One thing I was going to ask, though, is whether it's 12 12 noon in the heat of the day or a rainstorm, folks are going to try to, soccer fans are a pretty hardy bunch, and they're going to show up, rain or shine, and people are going to put up tents and things like that. What kind of restrictions will we have on that sort of thing? I know concerts, they come in, they sit in their chairs, but we don't, this is something different, so.
Okay.
It's not a concert you're talking about. You having people from international, from the rural, coming in.
Right.
Understanding the climate that we're in a war. We just had a shooting. And my thing is always prepare for the worst, hope for the best. And you can circumvent some of all the ticketing and all this kind of thing that'll make it a little more cost effective for you. Now the fencing, yes, we just want to make sure that we have the right people and people understand that we don't have a soft target. And yeah, if everything go well, great. Some go wrong. So we plan for the worst, hope for the best. And you got to understand, these people coming in here from all over the world, it'll be up for them to have some type of terrorist incident. At the city of Atlanta, that whole area is going to be, it's got so many security steps going on. So a lone wolf would like to come out to a smaller venue. Now, whatever you all decide, we're going to make it work as best we can, but we just have to tell you about what information we get from GMIN, Homeland Security Intelligence, that's telling us, watch your soft targets. If a planned venue provides too difficulty of an attack, terrorists are known to desert the plan. If they just pull down here and just walk in there any kind of way, just like, it's not a concert. And just like one of you all said, these people coming from all over the world, and these soccer people, they come with a different mindset. Have you been to a soccer game over in Atlanta? They don't sit down. They're rah, 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 rah. Now we're talking about Spain, Italy, United Kingdom. How they come together and then they go to the area and then they have a big brawl. See, that's what Atlanta's force is looking at now. So the bottom line, my only thing is, hey, we're going to make it work, but I got to let you know. If I don't let you know, I ain't doing my job. So whatever y'all do, we're gonna make it work. We got some more plans, and I'm not going to say what we got planned.
I think the consensus would be is what makes your life a little easier in protecting the public. I mean, which option is it simply easier for you to protect people?
I would think with putting the fence up.
Putting the fence up.
Having checkpoints. Mm-hmm. You don't have to sell the ticket. I mean, you could do something, you could flip the script and do it something differently from what you're doing for a concert. Mm-hmm. And I know some of these dates you may not have a lot of people there. It don't take but one fool to go out there and put a bomb and blow it up. That's what I look at.
Chief, if there are checkpoints, we're going to have metal detectors.
Right, we have the metal detectors. We don't have to do the full force Gladys Knight thing. You can have two of, if you can get them now, I don't know if you can get them, security or fencing, because everybody getting it. Now, you can just have two at each checkpoint, that's 6. Then we're going to put some officers out there. We'll do our undercover, we'll do some more things, but you can scale that whole thing down. The thing of it is, if someone drive by that venue and they don't see nothing out there and they can just walk in and willy-nilly, then it may be up their nerves or their idea to do something. If they drive by and they see, they got a checkpoint, they got this, let me go somewhere else. See, it's the idea that we're trying to flourish out there to someone who may have a dastardly deed. And that's what I gotta look for. That's what we gotta look for. So, but either way, we gonna plan, if you don't do all this and you go with the 23, we gonna do what we do to make it safe for the citizens of Douglasville. I assure you that.
Thank you, Chief.
Mayor.
You done, Councilwoman Miller? Did you want to add anything?
Yes, but I don't know that it's very well defined in my head at this moment. I really appreciate you guys and all of your information for us and your willingness to work with us so that we can develop a plan for this. I really love the thought of being able to have the fences down so that it could be open. I know on some of the days they are, like Wednesday at noon. I know when we've done the brown bag lunch concerts, you have handfuls of people. It's not large crowds of people. But I'm curious about like the weekend days. And I feel like there was a concept thrown out of possibly closing off some of the streets. What would that look like if we did that? But also, like, if we did not do fencing, could you still do a security checkpoint, or would there be any point in it?
I will have to defer to Chief for the security checkpoint. For the fencing option, we were looking at closing off Club Drive where it hit Church and Spring. And so it would have a small closure pretty much adjacent from the amphitheater and to the armory. And I do just want to reiterate that any changes to our application would have to go back to FIFA. So we did apply for the open park concept, and it was for those 8 dates. So if you're looking at a hybrid model or any changes, we would just need to go back through that application process.
Okay, so we might not even be approved for it.
But
No, she's saying
if
that
there
we
is
would
any
have-
hesitation for certain dates, it could possibly be we eliminate the hesitation dates of that Saturday or something like that, and that would not change the application, but adding components to the event itself would go back to the drawing board.
Okay. So without doing fencing, could we still block off a road or two on those Saturday dates? And if we did that, we would still have to go back through the application process?
From my understanding, it's the ticketing portion. Fencing would still be an add-on, so I would still need to go back to them, and they would have to come back to me and let me know if that would change anything. But right now, our licensing, as proposed, is at no cost. So the numbers I presented to you could also change if the license changes as well.
Is there time to go back and reapply?
I started back in December, and I found out early April. So I don't know if they've gotten quicker in the process. I'm not certain.
And if we do fencing, that cost is drastically different from what we're looking at right now, which means that then we would have to go back to, like, say, the list that we were looking at in committees tonight and decide what we're not going to do.
Excuse me.
So it sounds like
Someone else, please talk.
you would need guidance from us last week, basically.
I mean, is it an option just not to do the larger events? Is it an option for you all just not to do the larger events that are going to draw the larger crowds, that are going to create the issue of higher public safety risk from that standpoint of crowd control? Is that an option?
Just to clarify, the larger ones are the ones in the evenings, right?
That are associated near say the dates for those, Samantha.
The one that you all have mentioned was that Saturday, June 27th, and I would think that possibly the Wednesday, June 24th at 6 p.m. So those are both evenings. There is one Wednesday, July 15th at 3 p.m., but I would still consider that kind of early afternoon.
The reason I suggest that, particularly the one that's associated with Wednesday Wind Down, the difficulty that you potentially will have with the Wednesday Wind Down crowd is that they're accustomed to how they enter, how they participate in that event. I mean, they've been doing it for 15 years. We start to do change up, so it becomes a complication for the attendees for that event. I mean, it's not going to be the worst thing, but we will have to at least put out something ahead of time that if we're going to block off roads, we're going to block off streets, we're going to do certain things. And that crowd that attends Wednesday Wind Down is typically a lot more free-flowing. And yes, there are some of the same citizens who attend, but it is definitely a lot more free-flowing. They typically come in about 4 in the afternoon. So I just put on the table, if security is of a concern that is going to put the licensing at risk, maybe to put on the table to not do the events that are associated with a large number of people that are going to be gathered at the town green.
And removing a date or two is not going to impact the licensing.
So you're
No, in
recommending we lose the matches of Morocco versus Haiti and Uzbekistan versus the Democratic Republic of Congo?
Yes.
Okay, well,
That works.
has anybody been calling anybody, receive any constituent calls about those matches?
No.
Anybody in Uzbekistan? It sounds to me like that might be the smart move, because I never want to go against the recommendation of the PD. You know, they go above and beyond for us, and I don't want to put them in a challenging situation. I also don't want to spend an extra $100,000 for 2 games, basically. So personally, I am fine with dropping those 2 dates and just having the other 6.
Your consensus? Everyone? Okay, does that cause us any other, are there anything that we're not seeing right now that would cause a disruption in the contract? Do we have the freedom of simply dropping games like that?
So in the application, I listed that we would hope to have it on all 8 days and that I needed the pricing for it so I could present it to everything. So I never agreed for sure for all 8 of those. It was just tentatively so I could get the pricing to be able to crunch the numbers to provide that.
Okay, so in other words, you established our eligibility for all these dates, not a requirement to carry
Yes,
out
sir.
all those. Okay, that makes sense, so,
So what we're talking about is we're going to have all the daytime
yes.
events, but neither of the.
Neither, not the 6 o'clock Morocco, Haiti, nor the 7:30 Uzbekistan Democratic Republic of
I
Congo.
like that. I could attend it then.
Okay, I think that's our consensus.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I would like to ask the Chief, does that make you more comfortable?
Somewhat, but I don't look at the crowd size. The size don't matter, it's just that one individual is gonna come in there. But I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Samantha, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. And that was our staff report. So now, we come to the time on sprockets when we accept comments from citizens and delegates in the audience, and anybody who would like to come down and speak their piece, this is your opportunity, so. Please come down, just state your name and address for the record, and tell us what you want to talk about.
Hi, my name's Charlie Pendergraft. I live at 693 Glenwood Avenue, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia, 30312. My connection to Douglasville is, and I think you might remember me from about 10 days ago, I work for Pivotal Housing Partners. We have a proposed development at 7061.
I will caution you now, you can't talk, if this is about the zoning application, you can't discuss. Okay.
No, I'm just giving context, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my connection to Douglasville is that we're a developer proposed to develop a 54-unit senior housing development. Part of that process, we have to apply to the state for funding. When in the program that we're in, it's a point system where you get points for being near a grocery store, you get points for XYZ. And I'm here today to talk about a point that we're not able to get because Elevate Douglas won't sign a letter. And my request for you guys is to recommend to Elevate Douglas to sign the letter. So going into it, the letter states, well, first I'll say what the point is and what the letter is from the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. So you get a point if the proposed development is located within commuting distance of an economic development project that is expected to generate or is in the process of generating within 5 years from the competitive application deadline net new jobs that will be maintained in accordance with the table below. And the table says, and I have a handout for you guys, but the development being 20 miles from our development and net new jobs 250. And to get the point, you just need a letter from local economic development authority with jurisdiction over the project, executed by the authority chairman or executive director, confirming the industry of the project, that the project is expected to generate and maintain at least the minimum number of net new jobs referenced in the table above, the timeframe over which the net new jobs are expected to be realized, and that the project has been approved to proceed. So I sent a letter to Elevate Douglas to sign, which is not a letter of support, it's just a letter stating a fact. And the template said, this letter is provided at the request of Pivotal Housing Partners for the above referenced proposed development located in Douglasville, Douglas County, Georgia. The Development Authority of Douglas County, Elevate Douglas Economic Partnership, hereby confirms the following regarding the Sam's Club Douglas County Fulfillment Center in Douglas County. Industry of the project, logistics and distribution, net new jobs. The project is expected to make over 250 net new jobs. Timeframe, the jobs will be realized within 5 years from May 2026. And the project status, the project has been fully approved to proceed. And it's just a letter stating a fact. So then I have an article that actually says Sam Club is supposed to create 600 new jobs at Douglas County Fulfillment Center. The article was written in February 2023. And so to me, it's a complete fact that it's true. And so the issue I'm having is that I worked for 60 days to get this letter signed by Elevate Douglas. And the response I got was, we are not able to provide project-specific letters of support for individual developments. This is not a letter of support. This is me saying this is not a letter of support. This is a letter of fact, just like a zoning verification letter. As an organization, we maintain a consistent approach across all requests, and given the volume of activity and limited staff capacity, we are not in a position to issue letters on a case-by-case basis. This is from Breezy Stratton, and so I'm here to ask if City Council will recommend to Elevate Douglas to sign the letter stating a fact.
Thank you, sir. I want to turn to our staff attorney. Miranda, do you want to make a comment on this?
If this item were something that the council wanted to consider, it would need to be brought forth previously scheduled at of the legislative work session and or the voting meeting for a Monday meeting.
Thank you. Another thing I would also add is that, the Elevate Douglas is an independent authority. I mean, they operate on their own devices, and so there's not really much that we could say or tell them to do.
Sure.
So, I mean, it would be just the same as us writing a letter to, Walmart and saying, you should clean up aisle 4 a little more carefully.
I think it would help coming from you guys. The not having this point, which we've gotten in the past from other jurisdictions. I have to assume that other developers will get this point. It's going to jeopardize the project not having the point.
Go ahead, City Manager.
What Ms. Stratton mentioned to me is that it has not been in their practice to provide these letters, so she was not willing to move forward with something that had not been done by the organization in the past that she was aware of. So, from our standpoint, the Mayor Pro Tem is correct. We have not been in the practice of ever urging another organization to do something on behalf of a developer. What context I can give that she mentioned to me is that she felt as if from a practice standpoint from their organization, they would have to be in the business of doing this for everyone. So she contends that the information that's needed for your organization is listed in the press release.
And I think the corollary to that would be that if we did a recommendation letter, we would be then required to be in the practice of doing it for everyone as well. One thing that I am trying to wrap my head around is that you're applying for a grant that is asking for conditions of the economic development of the area in terms of the number of jobs that are being created. If this is a development for 55 and above, most of those people aren't going to be looking for jobs, I would think.
Well, number one,
But that's just,
yeah, it's, I guess, we have to do whatever the Georgia Department of Community Affairs says. Everybody can get this point. Whether or not, I guess it's just, if you cause population increase through more jobs, that could also cause more seniors to live here perhaps. My concern is that if Douglasville doesn't do this, they might miss out on other affordable or senior affordable opportunities because other jurisdictions do it. And if you guys don't support it, I just wanted to bring it up as an issue just because it just feels like we're hitting a wall here.
all right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else who would like to come down and speak at this time? I think somebody was about to come down. This is your last chance. Make sure, if you fill out one of those cards, make sure, if you didn't already, make sure you do before you leave.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I feel this is my first time.
Okay. Let's see, well, there'll be a card, when you're done, you fill out a card and leave it with the city clerk. Give us your name and address for the record, sir.
Yes, my name is Ola Adewale. Obviously, this is my first time here. I came to Georgia 2011, and I enjoyed this environment pretty well, even though there are some issues I have at first. But now I just want to, the reason why I came here today is just to say, is a thank you. It's an impromptu issue, but I just want to say thank you because I remember about a week or two ago, I called on the Douglasville city office and I said, listen, I have a danger on my street somewhere and I need help to cut down because per view, there's a situation on the street. So I just want to, like I said, I just want to say thank you to the city and the gentleman that came, that yes, indeed, this is a good city. So kudos to the staff and those that came. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. It's always refreshing that somebody thanks us for something. We don't get that very often. Is anyone else who would like to come down and speak? This is your opportunity. If not, we have no takers. Then that is all we have for this evening's program. Any other comments from council? No. All right, then this meeting is therefore adjourned.